It's Tuesday, y'all. Welcome to another episode of our Daily Magic, where we get to talk about the magic that we're being in the world. And we have an amazing guest. Y'all know who we are, Dell, Kai. This is Shelly. And Shelly is an author, an intuitive medium, and a conscious creator who is passionate about helping people wake up to their greatness. She supports others as they navigate their own journey into consciousness to experience aliveness. So Shelly's books, and she's got a ton of them, by the way. She's got 28 Days to New You. She's got Connect to the You Within. She's got Journey into Consciousness and Embracing the Magic Within, and they're all available in paperback and ebook. So there's no excuse for y'all to not jump into that. But Shelly is also the creator of cards of empowerment and also clarity cards. And I'm just so excited to hop right in and to hear Shelly's story. Like, how did this side, this magical side of you even emerge? Where did it come from?
Yes, well, thank you both. I'm so excited to be here and share a conscious conversation with you today. So I'm looking forward to it. So, to answer that, in essence, I've always been a sensitive kid. I've always been very much a feeler and very much in tune at the same time. And I've always still, recognized that there was something more than just being human and living this life. And in essence, what I began doing when I started waking up about 12 years ago is recognizing that, we are all magnificent beings. We are all powerful creators. It's just a matter of recognizing it, beginning to create consciously, and really knowing that magic is our essence. It's that power to create that we all have.
Absolutely. And I love your definition of magic.
I already had a question.
Okay.
What led to your awakening?
Well, the awakening was definitely resulted in, I felt like I was just going through the motions, that I was on autopilot, being a wife, a mother, working, and I was asking those questions. Who am I? Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? And is this all there really is? Because I knew there had to be something more than what I was going with. And when I began asking those questions, I began getting those answers. And it was just like that aha moment of recognizing, yes, there is something more out there. And that's why we tune in to that consciousness and tune into that intuition and really begin once again recognizing that we are energetic beings having this human experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really feeling the words and the phrases that you're using here, because it's helping to like create this discernment. I'm always like wondering, okay, what's the difference between the intuition and the monkey mind? And when you say
Yes.
like there's something more, then I can totally discern and say that anything that makes me feel anything other than that, it's probably not my intuition.
Right. That's a good way to look at it, Kai. And the thing is we are very much human. I'm one of those believers because I recognize there's a lot of people that are so ready to ascend. They're so ready to be out of this physical body. And I'm very much quite the contrast because I want to experience life. I want to experience the pleasures and the joys. And of course, with that comes the challenges. And the more that we do recognize that our mind is where we want to think and analyze and process and, are very curious. But at the same time, if we tune in more to our essence, tune in more to our spirit, our heart, our gut, that is our intuition. That is just that knowingness of what is within us. And of course, connecting to our angels and guides is beneficial as well.
Yeah.
It's magical, right?
Absolutely. Question: do you find that your angels and guides have like personality or a sense of humor?
Yes, of course. And if we think of just to differentiate between the two, many times we recognize that angels have not been human before, that they, are definitely those beings, those archetypes that we may even look at. But the guides have very much lived life. And although they may be very angelic, they have been very human. And so we all have guides, and I have several guides. And, one of them helps to bring me joy. One of them is there to help me write, and one is there to work with me when I practice Reiki and things like that. And so I know, that they can very much reflect our personality, but they can also be just exactly what we need, which may be quite different from our personality.
Yeah. I had, I had a question too, especially this is sort of just asking for people out there, and I just want to, or just ask this question for somebody who may be wondering, like, oh my God, like, what are these guides or what are angels? How would I potentially be open myself to have an initial connection or conversation with my angels in my life, or a guide, or maybe even somebody, let's say somebody experienced a loss of somebody who passed over, having a conversation with those people as well.
Yeah, that
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, that's a great question, Dal, because, once again, as humans, we need to know answers. So we need to get specific. And of course, we could Google it. And if we do, we want to make sure that we've got credible sources that we're referencing. But definitely, if we recognize that our higher self, an aspect of who we are, an aspect of our soul and our spirit, that's that energy as well. I like to use the term spirit. That is a connection or a combination, shall we say, of all of that, of our angels, guides, loved ones on the other side. And the thing is we all have that ability to connect. We just have to set the intention to do so. Much like striking up a conversation with someone, whether it's via messenger or in person. The thing is we just have to begin chatting and talking. And then, because many times, our guides, of course, don't have physical form, we have to trust what we're hearing in our mind. Sometimes we hear things audibly, which that would be the clairaudience aspect, but most of the time it's just thoughts and words and impressions that come in. And even our loved ones in spirit, we know that energy can't be created or destroyed. It only changes form. And that's why those that no longer have physical form, they've transitioned to the other side, they're still energy. They still connect with us. And many times they'll give us thoughts and memories, maybe a picture of themselves that we envision in our mind. And Kai, getting out of our head, getting out of that monkey mind aspect, and just trusting it is the answer.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. We also have a question from the audience. Are the angels that you were talking about in heaven? Question mark. Thank you, Nona.
Yes. Well, in essence, yes. But if we can believe that heaven is all around us, that heaven can be a state of mind, a state of being, that it isn't so much way out there, it's just an energy that we're connecting to. So, it's our matter of perception, just like we'll go here for a moment, but just like hell, a lot of people think that hell is that fiery element that is down deep below us. And in reality, some people may very much have their perception that that is the life that they're living here on earth. So we can look at it in different ways, religiously speaking, of course, but also just look at it in a spiritual aspect, that many times it's our perception of how we view it.
I love this. I love where this is going. And it just reminds me of the quote of what Jesus said in the Bible of the kingdom of heaven is within you.
Yes.
And within you.
Absolutely. But, once again, and I was raised Baptist, so that is my basis. But I very much quickly transitioned to more of a unity belief system, and that's what I gravitate towards. But once again, it's all a matter of interpretation. And if we can realize that we are consciousness, We are God, we are source, we are higher power. Once again, sometimes people feel very uncomfortable talking about it in that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's a powerful statement to embody that you're God, that you are that divine essence. And what I heard from a lot of people about that is the fact of, if I'm that person, that means I have to take full responsibility for my life. I'm not able to blame, I'm not able to give responsibility to external things outside of me for the reason why things are happening the way it is, or the reason why I am the way that I'm feeling right now.
Yes. That's a great point. And the thing is, if we are human and we really want to live our life fully, if we really want to embrace that magic that is within us, I do believe we have to show up. And there's a quote, Brene Brown, she says, show up, be seen, answer the call. So that is taking responsibility for having a human life experience. Now, at the same time, there's many, many things beyond our control. We can control our thoughts, our words, our actions. We can control our perception, how we respond, and even our emotions. But there may be things that affect us that cause us then to respond or react in a certain way.
Yeah. Yeah. It reminds me, there's another, it's synchronistic, and that's how universe works. The synchronistic.
Yes.
I was just having a conversation about this before, of just how we can't control what happens, like in life experiences, like things showing up in a way, but we can control how we react to it.
Absolutely.
But
And I like to remind people now, react is one way, and it may be very harsh, quick, sudden, or we can respond. And that's just taking a pause. Even the words sound so much different. One is quick and harsh, and the other one feels a little more graceful. And so we can do both. But I always say, if you can, choose to respond rather than react.
Ooh. And I want to go deeper into that.
Asking
for a friend, myself, and people who are listening too. Right. In those moments, let's give like whatever example it could potentially happen. Like something happens in your life that brings up emotions, and a lot of emotions in which you can potentially react, and the emotions that you're feeling. What is a way for somebody when this happens to be able to go from a react to responding to what's happening in the moment?
Okay, so the first thing is recognize you're human, and it's okay to feel whatever emotion that is arising. But at the same time, if it's something that may be very drastic, that may be rage or something heavy that even may feel like it's being directed towards someone, I say, just have a check-in. Let's just really recognize, is this really what's causing me to react in this way, or is there something deeper? And I will tell you, Dell, most of the time there's something underlying that, and that person just happened to feel triggered in that moment by what they experienced. So awareness is the key. But once again, we're human, so we want to just take a moment and say, whoa, wait a second, where's this coming from? Why am I reacting in this way? There's got to be something more than just this situation.
Beautifully said.
Talk to yourself. Talk aloud.
I wonder how others will receive that.
Juju says, I'm with you on that, Shelly. I am so into fully experiencing being human, yet my intuition and my magic always plays peekaboo out to remind me of who I really am.
Well, that is so true. And the thing is we are human. This is why we want to balance our energetic, spiritual aspect of ourselves and our humanness, and just, really check in. I always like to remind people, root chakra energy. And for those that may not be quite familiar with that term, chakras, those are those energy centers within our physical body. And so root is the first chakra. It's the lowest vibration chakra. And the heart chakra is up here literally in our heart. So we think of root being fear and worry and doubt and lack, all those heavier, lower vibration emotions. And the heart is love and all of that higher vibration energy. So I say balance that humanness with our divinity. Once again, just knowing that we're perfectly imperfect and we're here to definitely, once again, be human and answer that call.
Amazing. And I'm so curious what the number 28 is to you in significance. Your book is titled 28 Days to a New You.
Yeah.
Why not 21? Why not 40?
Yeah. Well, good question. Well, there is actually a belief that it takes 21 days to change a habit. And so I went with, people may need a bit longer. And I just went with 28 days because that's 4 weeks' time. But otherwise, I remind people too that you can choose change and become a new you immediately. It's just what we're shifting is our perception. So the number 28 doesn't have really any special significance other than that's the number I was guided to go with in regards to creating a space that people could change. And sometimes if we say 1 day to a new you, they would say that's not right. Or, 365 days to a new you. And they're going to say, well, that will take forever. So I had to give them an easy number to work with.
Now I have another question I'm very interested in. Because you said in an instant somebody could shift to a new them.
Yes.
So for somebody who is looking to do that, and I'm sure people who are listening, they will love to learn about or have the answer to this question too, is like, how can I make an instant shift into a new version of myself?
The main thing is awareness of who you are, where you're at in that moment, how you feel, just tuning in more to all of that. And I remind people, your energy emission is your thoughts, words, actions. So have awareness of that energy. And then you want to become more present instead of living in the past and going over those coulda, wouldas, might have beens, or constantly living in the tomorrows with planning. We want to have a nice balance between it, but ideally we want to do our best just to be present in what we're doing now, just like we're having this conversation. And then we want to allow ourselves to shift our perception. So look at life through a new lens. Be the observer at times, and also just do your best to look through the lens of love. It doesn't mean everything has to be perfect and positive, but be able to see that higher perspective, especially within challenging situations. We want to see those blessings.
And is there any potential, I guess, like affirmations or whatever, that something in that realm of what people can do for when they are trying to shift the perspective? Let's say like something happened in their life that could be deemed as very traumatic, and they keep reliving that, keep having the emotion tied towards that, whatever the lower vibrational emotions could be, of anger, sadness, stress, depression, all these different emotions. So how do you think somebody, when those emotions come up, how can somebody potentially be able to shift those into a higher vibrational emotion?
Yes, that's a great question, Dell. And I am a huge believer in positivity and positive thoughts, positive words, power statements. So you can easily come up with I am statement, because when we use the words I am, that is a declaration of who you are and how you want to feel. So you can just say, I am amazing. I am love. I am magic. I'm a magical being. I'm a powerful creator. Anything that comes to you, and you can shift that as you're guided to as well. Sometimes people feel like they have to have a long drawn out mantra or an affirmation to work with, but it can be something very simple.
We've got a comment as well. I would really love to change myself and not be a worrier, but a warrior. Would you be able to speak to that specifically?
Yes,
Shelly?
that's a great question. And first of all, I will say more than likely part of your worry stems that you are a very sensitive being. That, of course, you may recognize there's things that you think about and focus on, but I guarantee you, probably a lot of what you're feeling is based on the energies around you. This is why I like to remind people, once again, you're an energetic being. So practicing good energetic hygiene is really beneficial. Grounding your energy, centering your energy, clearing those chakras, clearing that auric field, and cutting those energetic cords are very healthy. But also, you just want to have the awareness when you are worrying, and when you do, begin shifting that worry to one of awareness and concern. It's a different vibration. And this is where you grow in your power. That's that solar plexus. So that's that warrior energy, that empowered energy emerging.
Can I just add one little question to that as well?
Yes.
And yeah, this is directly for Nona, and that is, what does a warrior look like for you? So that way,
question, yes.
To embody that, like, what does a warrior look like? Because a warrior for her, and a warrior for me, and a warrior for Kai, a warrior for you could be a completely different vision of a warrior. Like me, it's like a big muscle guy with a sword riding down on a unicorn, spitting fire rainbows, see, and a catasaurus around.
And I want to add to that too, Dell. Some people, because they are feelers, let's say, what does a warrior feel like to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a feeler.
Yeah.
So, Kai, what does one feel like to you?
What's funny is that I actually caught myself most recently, and that I found that even in my dialogue or even in my affirmations, that my attention was on, am I doing this right? And not on feeling the things that I was saying. And I was like, even my words could be more powerful, in a conversation, if I'm feeling what I'm saying while I'm saying it.
Yes.
It just has me come alive in a non-self-conscious way. So thank you so much for bringing that up.
Yes. And I just keep hearing you're a spiritual badass. So, just owning that, shining your light and, just once again, being who you are. And the main thing that we want to remember too is people will have their perception of us, of each one of us. And if we can recognize that, but just say, you know what, I'm still going to shine and show up as I choose to be, that, going back to everyone once again has their perception, but this is our unique human life experience that each one of us are choosing to live.
Magical.
Magical, very magical.
Cue the magical bomb for that one, because that is some truth right there, the perception.
Really? We have to do the bomb?
Huh? Oh, yeah. Okay. Please do it. Magical. Yeah. I forgot we had that sound effect. But yeah, what you just said about the perspectives and what other people are going to have their perception about us. And no matter what, people are going to have their perception about us no matter what we do.
Yes.
And for myself, in my journey, and I noticed resonating with a lot of people, in which our journey is trying to have everybody's perception be a certain way about us. Like approval, everybody needs to approve me. Everybody needs to accept me. So for myself, I would go out of my own personal boundaries to try to appease others and please others to make them pretty much accept me. But also at the end of the day, not everybody accepted me. And, and even deeper, I was trying to accept myself.
Yes. And I want to take this just a step further. I will tell you, most people, because there's so many millions of people in the world, most people don't even have the awareness of us. Okay. And I'm not trying to play small in that regards, but the idea is, once again, we have our reality, our humanness that we're living, then we have our outer circle, we have our community, and we can extend it as far as we choose to. But many times our human mind, once again, going to that monkey mind, we start worrying and stressing about everyone. Well, let's just simplify it and perhaps say, well, I'm really concerned about how this particular person views me. And maybe we just need to sit with that for a bit and in the same sense shift it, because it's like, does it really matter? I'm choosing to live this life once again that I am.
Mm-hmm. And Nona's clarifying here. She says, I just mean that I don't want to beat up on myself and I want to be confident and have healthy self-esteem. And Dell often reminds us, that self-esteem is about the self,
Yes.
As opposed to what other people, think about us.
Yes. And so add to that, Nana, have the awareness of your self-talk, whether it's something you think or something that you say. And the more that you have the awareness of it, the more that you can shift it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It reminds me of a Byron Katie exercise, and when thoughts pop up and asking, is this true? So it's pretty much challenging your thoughts when they come up. And just asking that question, you will see if it's the truth or not. And a lot of these times with these thoughts, with self-esteem, like for myself, once I started challenging these thoughts I had about myself that were showing up as insecurities and pretty much putting myself in a low vibration, I realized that I was taking on labels of what other people were saying to me, but it got morphed into a form of hearing my own voice. So I was thinking, because I'm hearing it inside of me as my voice, like, oh, this is me, this is true. But once I started challenging it, it started to unravel, and I started to see the parts of when I actually picked up these beliefs in my life.
Yes, absolutely. And, once again, the more that we tune in to ourselves and ask the questions, that's part of that awakening process.
Wow. Do you feel like that question that you asked to start your awakening could be a profound question for anybody else out there to start asking with curiosity?
Absolutely. Just to me, I view those questions as keys that unlock the door to more. So ask those questions and see what arises within your mind and within your heart and within your spirit.
Yes. I'd love to read. Juju says, I can change in 1 day, I can change in 3 days, or even 28, because it all starts in the mindset. The real work is being consistent and present with the change that I want or with the change that's happening. She says, whoo, Shelly is fire to me.
Yes. Yes. Yes, you are. And the thing is what we want to remember too is sometimes we may have perceived setbacks that we feel like we're doing really great and then we're off the wagon, whatever we perceive that to be. And this is where you just recognize, okay, so once again, I have the awareness, but I'm going to move past that. I'm not going to beat myself up or dwell on that. I'm going to then set an intention to continue on my path and continue to be the best possible version of myself.
It brings up a question for me. It's like the falling off the wagon thing that we all have like felt we experience. And my question out there is like, if all this is perfect and was supposed to be the way that it was, are we really falling off a wagon? Or are we just being aware of ourselves in these moments? And it's like the universe and your guys give you a little nudge, like, hey, remember who you are.
Yeah, that's great. And so many people will ask me, what is my purpose? And I know that they are really meaning more than my response. But what I'll say is, your purpose is to have a human life experience, embody all of those experiences, and have those emotions, experience life. And in reality, they're saying, well, what should I be doing? And that's where I then remind them of the truth of who they are, is to tune in more to their heart and their spirit and let that guide them. Because many times, our true essence, once again, is magic, and knowing that we have that power to create. We create with our thoughts and our beliefs and what we focus on.
Mm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Shout out to Truth Seeker. Thank you for being here and for checking us out and coming by to say hello. Shelly, I'm so curious, what does it look like when someone is like working with you?
Well, even much like we are having a conversation here. So I offer several types of sessions. I do offer mediumship sessions, which is the opportunity to connect to those loved ones in spirit. And then I offer clarity consultations, which those would be like psychic readings, where you can ask specific questions and I give insight. I read your energy, tell you what I'm picking up. And then I offer empowerment coaching sessions and inspired living sessions. And so those are definitely having dialogue. I'm very present, I'm listening, and I'm tuning in at the same time and telling you what I pick up. And with those type of sessions, we can really look at a type a change that you would like to create in your life, or perhaps an enhancement if things already feel pretty good.
Brenda says Shelly's classes are awesome.
Yes, I do offer development classes. These are on the first and third Tuesdays of each month. So tonight happens to be the next development class that I'm offering, and we'll be talking about asking for guidance.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
And ask for guidance for anything that somebody's going through in their life in this present moment.
Absolutely. Yes, and how to do that anytime. We can ask our guides, we can ask God, source consciousness, once again, whatever term resonates with us, and how to do that, and once again, to really trust that information that we receive.
Wow.
Has there been times that I can say for myself, yes, they receive information that you didn't want to receive?
Yes, but I will tell you, probably it's exactly what you needed to receive. So,
Yeah.
and I remind people too, we are our own best authority, and all of the answers we seek are actually within us. So I remind people, I'm not a fortune teller. I will not predict your future. I will help you to create it. So I want to empower you rather than disempower you.
Got it.
We got a question.
We do have a question. And thank you so much, everyone, for your comments and for your questions.
And keep them coming as well, because this is a powerful conversation and with a magical being who has her magic showcasing. So I know there's people who are listening that has a question about their situation in life or whatever it may be. Feel free to share it in your comments and let Shelly be of service for you guys right now.
Yeah, this is a community dialogue. So Juju says, Shelly, how would you handle being spot on when it comes to picking up someone else's energy and they have not even said a word, but you speak that truth and say, I'm feeling that there is tension in the air, and then you receive a full-blown monkey brain anger vomit response from this person like, whoa, all I did was mention what I was picking up.
Okay. That can be really challenging. So I remind people, first of all, it's important to honor people's boundaries. And if this person specifically asked, what do you pick up from me? Then that was absolutely an open door to share it. However, if they weren't asking, I would say, pick it up, receive it, it, but perhaps not necessarily convey it verbally. Now, you may speak it energetically, telepathically to them to give them a heads up, but sometimes, once again, people feel very triggered if they didn't ask for an opinion or ask for you to read their energy, and that's why, to me, it's just important to respect people's personal space and respect their energy. I see on TV a lot some of the different medium shows, psychic shows and stuff, where people go up and read people, and we know they do that for television purposes. However, that really isn't ethical. The idea is, unless someone invites you into their space and to read, then you shouldn't do it. So I'm one of those people. I pick up things all the time from people, but I won't say anything unless it's asked of me.
I have a question about this. And yeah, I totally resonate with that, meaning like reading people's energy and not telling them. And my question is, when you read the person's energy, and also let's say like somebody's really in that egoic structure of themselves and really doing that, and like exactly like what's going on and what can be said, and like for these people, like what I would do before is like I would just say it to them like, listen, you're not like you're an ego, but like this is what's happening right now. And what happened for me, like it's a gasoline I put on a fire, but type of thing. So like in instances like that, in which somebody's actually in that type of like structure in that space in the moment, how would you handle that when they even ask you like, okay, what do you think is going on? But like
Yeah.
that they're not potentially ready to hear the truth of what's happening.
Yeah. So this is where, if they ask for it and you give it and they don't like it, you have to not take it personally. I love the book, The Four
Ooh.
Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And for those listeners and viewers that may be unfamiliar with it, this is one of the books I recommend. It's a guidebook for living life and great for relationships. And the first agreement is be impeccable with your word. Words are power. Speak your truth. The second agreement is don't take things personally. What
Wow.
other people say and do is not because of you. The third agreement is don't make assumptions. And the fourth agreement is always do your best. And Dale, while you were talking, what came into my awareness was several instances when I've read people and, I will read their chakras. That's how I start out all my sessions and tune in. And I've had a few that say, well, what else do you pick up? Well, sometimes it's definitely things they don't want to hear. So what I do is I just drop my words down into my heart chakra and really infuse them with love. And they come out at times very blunt, but I've infused them with love. And if they don't receive them well or are triggered by it, it's on them. I don't take it personally, but in my mind, I'm probably smiling big. It's like, well, you asked me and I told you. So there we go.
Oh, thank you. I got a new tool to use now because like I like especially on this path is I want to be an unconditional loving being and to be able to stay in that space. But then like it's like the moments like that when I'm like,
Yeah, you're tested.
yeah, I want to say it out of love. And when somebody asks me for it or asks like that question, what do you think about it? For me, what I do is I put it right back on them. What do you think? And I ask it in a way of just pretty much repeating what they just said.
Yes.
But I know that there's a story going on in the moment. So now I repeat them. You're saying this. So what do you think about it?
Yes, that's a great technique. You're mirroring back to them, what they are saying, and you're empowering them also to really tune in for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And like my belief is, like you mentioned before, is we all have our answers that we're seeking within us. And what I like to do is allow the person to like go there to like find that treasure within them to get the answer.
Yes.
I could easily just say, okay, here's the answer for it. But like for myself, my own experience, it's been more profound for me when I actually find the answer for myself compared to if somebody tells me, because it's like, wait, and now I'm talking about even more. It's like it reminds me of times in my life when I would get a reading. I'm like, tell me my future. Tell me what's about to happen. Tell me if I'm going to get in this relationship. Tell me if I'm going to get this money. Tell me I'm going to get this job. And there's psychics out there who do that, and then they come.
Yes.
But then, like the most profound ones, they tell you what it is, but they leave it in a way for you to figure out for yourself. And like for me, I'm like, no, I want to know now. I want to know now. Give it the answer now.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And I do spirit fairs here in Oklahoma. And so I definitely get people, and this is in, real life too, people coming to me and I just remind them once again of their power to create. So, if you recognize too that many times people will tell you what you already know to be true for you. It's just nice to have some validation or confirmation from someone else.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's so true.
So we got some more comments. Nona says, at this present time, I'm asking God for signs from my dad and ma. I miss them so much. Love you, Nona. And Juju is saying, when I ask, I really want to know the good, bad, and the ugly. Other people, when they ask, not so much. A little voice in my brain screams, no, you can't handle the truth. And thank you for the clarity.
Can we go back to the first one to actually be able to help Nona with that? So for someone, and there's a great question for not only for Nona but for anybody in the group who may have just lost a loved one recently. So for Nona, for example, for you, Shelly, she's looking for signs from her dad and mom. Is there a way for her to actually be able to ask this question, be able to receive the guidance for that or receive the answers?
Absolutely. Now, what you want to remember once again is when they transition, they are getting accustomed to life without that physical body. And I always am hesitant about using the word lost. I know we think of that as, when someone's no longer here, but I like to just simply say, our loved ones who have transitioned or loved ones in spirit, because they're not really lost. They just don't have that physical form. And so ways that we receive messages definitely, first of all, is go with energy. As I said, because they're energetic beings, they can blend with your energy so you can feel sensations on your body. It may feel like someone's touching you very gently, or you may feel a coolness or may feel tingles. And it's not anything to be scary or scared about. It's not scary. It's just recognizing that's a way to get close. And what I find for myself is many times it feels like they're giving us a hug from behind, that we feel that warm embrace behind us. Also, they can affect anything electronic. So lights flickering, our phones, TVs, things like that, because they're able to easily work with other energy devices. Also, taking notes of the coin, pennies, dimes, and so on. Number sequences that may show up for us, whether it is on a license plate or a receipt or a clock. Songs that come into our mind or on the radio, they love doing that as well. And other animal messengers like dragonflies and butterflies and cardinals and so on. Those tend to be really wonderful ways that our loved ones communicate. And you can ask your loved one for specific signs, but also be open and receptive, because sometimes it may be really challenging for them to get a specific sign to you that you're asking for. And the other thing, once again, is just taking note of the thoughts and memories that come in, because that is their way of saying hello.
I love that. For me, because my father passed away last year, and since then I already know, because I started seeing blue jays a lot around,
Yes.
and that was a sign for him. But what I started to do for myself, and like you mentioned, how everything's energy anyway. Even them, even though they transitioned on, their energy is still always around us and always here, and we're infinite. Infinite means we're connected to everything. So what I do sometimes, I just have a conversation, sort of like we're having this conversation now. I just have a conversation with my father, like, hey, like, how's it going up there? And I like to ask those type of questions compared to, I also had the part before, like, oh my God, I miss you so much. How did this happen? Like in that one, but then I have a conversation just to get response about, hey, like, what are you doing? What's going on? Like, where you at? Like,
yeah, tell me, show me.
yeah.
And the thing is when we are grieving and we feel very heavy, it's hard for them to break through that barrier, because their vibration's higher now that they no longer have that dense physical body. So just keep in mind that low vibrations energy can be harder for them to connect. But Dell, you're doing perfectly, because the thing is they love to hear us talk to them. And the main thing is we want to just quiet our mind and trust the thoughts that are flowing back to us, or the images that they may be showing us, that it's really them saying hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is like, amazing. I love the fact that you put the power into everyone's hands, to have them understand that this is a gift that we all have as well. So thank you so much for
Very
doing.
welcome. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So if we were to take it a step further, and to continue that dialogue and to continue to develop, where would you recommend for someone to look or someone to start inquiring?
Yeah, well, the main thing, once again, is, recognize everything is energy, everything is resonance. So you can absolutely, go online, go on Facebook and other places and just see what's out there. And I always remind people, feel into it for yourself. Feel into what feels credible and true for you, because there are so many videos and teachers and books and things like that, but you want to know what resonates with you personally. And it's always nice to have someone tell you what they're doing and what they enjoy, but you also want to practice discernment and take into consideration if this is something that resonates with you as well.
Absolutely. Nona says, thank you so much. I will be aware of all the signs that they give me. I talk to them all the time. Love you.
Love you too, Nona.
Awesome. And I mean, especially now, Shelly, we're in 2021. What tends to be, some of the themes of things that come up for people, when they reach out to you,
Well,
Mhm.
yeah, first of all, this past year has been challenging on many, many levels for a lot of people. We're, talking about the health concerns, the racial injustice, the political aspect, so many things. And the main thing, once again, is have the awareness of your own energy, have the awareness of what you're focusing on. But this is a reminder that you're a powerful creator. So I encourage people, do your best to be present, to be flexible, to be adaptable. The more that we're able to flow with it, the better we'll feel on all levels, physically, mentally, emotionally, and energetically.
Beautiful. And one of the questions that we tend to ask on the show is, what are some of the rituals or practices that really contribute to your spiritual, mental, emotional, physical health, Shelly?
Yes, well, I'm big on self-care. So I love to get a massage every month and periodically get a facial and go get pedicures and chiropractic treatments and acupuncture and anything that I can do for my well-being in that regards. But daily, I like to just be outside and go for a walk occasionally and just enjoy nature and also just meditate. And my preferred way of meditation is to just be present, not spend long periods of time. And once again, just go outside and observe around me. I live out in the country on 13 acres here in Oklahoma and have lots of birds and lots of other life here. I have several fur babies. So I just enjoy just being out and once again being present.
That's beautiful and so important. Nona says, very nice to meet you, Shelly. To the three of you. Here she goes into her day. Thank you for being with us this morning.
We appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah. Wow. So we've covered a lot of, the aspects of the spirit world. And my question is, how do you integrate that into your physical life?
Yes. Well, the main thing, once again, to remember is your body, mind, and spirit. So you are an energetic being in physical form. And the more that you just intend to do it and do the best you can, the more you can. So it is just, balancing the best of both worlds, so to speak. So you don't have to not do one or try to do this or that or whatever. Just be at whatever space that you are in that moment once again.
Mm-hmm.
Some days are easy breezy and some days not so much. So once again, this is where we just flow with it. And the more that we see once again that magic is the power to create. It's our essence, and we're all magical, creative, powerful beings. We just have to own it.
Yeah. It's what you just mentioned about just having those core foundational things set. So that way, no matter what shows up, you just know your core foundational stuff to go to for no matter what shows up. That's profound.
Yes.
Beautiful. Yeah. I'm going to take that into my day.
Yeah.
And Shelly, if there was just like one thing, that someone were to take away from this conversation, we've covered a lot of things.
Yes.
But what would that one thing be?
Yeah, the main thing I just want to remind you that you are a beautiful, unique, amazing, powerful creation. And the more that you shine your light and be who you are, the more it's going to encourage other people to do the same for themselves as well.
Thank you for being that role model.
Yeah.
And Shelly, where can everyone find you out there on the internet and in the world?
You can go to my website, ShellyRWilson.com. You've got to put that R in there or you won't find me. And also I have Embracing the Magic Within. And then you can find me on Instagram at Intuitive Medium Shelly, on Facebook at Intuitive Medium Shelly. I also have Journey into Consciousness and Embracing the Magic Within as well. And my books can be found through my website once again, as well as on Amazon as paperback and ebook. And just a quick mention with the new book, Embracing the Magic Within, it's actually a compilation of personal stories, words of wisdom, and tools for your journey into consciousness. There are actually no chapters in the book. I do have separator pages, shall we say, but I invite people to read it front to back, or you can use it as a type of oracle where you just say, what do I need to know at this time? And then open the book randomly. And then in addition, I created those 2 deck of oracle cards as well, the cards of empowerment and the clarity cards.
Wow. And do you mind just speaking a bit about the decks and, the
Yeah, sure. I've got them right here, actually. So these are the cards of empowerment. I love flowers. I took all the pictures myself. And these cards, you can ask specifically, what do I need to know at this time? Or ask a question. Lay out one card, as many as you're guided to. And there's 52 cards in the deck. And so just asking for all of us, Spirit saying, focus your energy. So to me, is that call just to focus anytime that we're feeling a bit scattered or feeling pulled in different directions, just intentionally focus. And there's a tulip emerging from the ground in that image. And then the clarity cards, these came out the same time as my book last year. They're power statements. Once again, work with them in the same way. And the card that Spirit's saying today is unwind from the tensions of the day. So this is that call for you to really recognize, once again, how amazing you are. Anything that feels stressful, just leave it at the door, shed it, allow yourself just to be.
Awesome. I will do that for sure. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your comments. This has really been a really rich dialogue today. I'm particularly grateful, for our amazing viewers, listeners, watchers, and Shelly. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us and to share your wisdom.
Well, thank you to you both. I appreciate what you're doing and what you're creating and your magic.
Much appreciated. And to everyone who can hear us,
stay magical.
Take care, everyone.